Hello, everybody. I'm Chloe. That's Chunk behind me. He burped or hiccuped or something the moment that StreamYard said we were live. So, we're fine. Everything's fine. My cat's just gross. Hopefully it was just a hiccup. I don't know. He does that. Anyways, I'm Chloe. Welcome. This is Night Right. It will be me and Sandy tonight. Sandy is just running a couple minutes late, but she will be here. We are going to be doing productivity sprints all night. We'll probably be doing our usual 2 hours. I don't know yet what I'm working on. I do know how I'm going to start. I'm going to be starting with doing a proofread on a short story. But after that, I don't know what I am doing because I'm having one of those not feeling all of my projects that I have available right now, or like the ones that I'm actively working on right now. So I think I might actually jump to something I haven't picked up in a while. I don't know. That's kind of a bad, I'm talking to writers here. You know what I'm talking about. Like if you get going real good on a project and then you switch to a new project, you kind of have momentum issues. But I don't know. I'm not feeling anything right now. It is what it is. So anyways, let me know what you're working on. Oh, and I'm going to be doing some Hootsuite scheduling, I think. I haven't done anything with Hootsuite in a while. I stopped using it. But I think I'm going to pick it up again to start scheduling some tweets. So that's something else that I'll probably be doing tonight. But yeah, so I'm on the fence about what I'm working on, and that's okay. I'm in a weird patch right now. My computer died last Thursday, I believe. So, it's just kind of the struggle bus right now. Kind of riding that struggle bus. But that's okay. I will power through this. I've been powering through it with True Blood. I don't know. Sometimes you just got to marathon a weird show, right? Yeah, I watched it back when it was, actually on the air, and hadn't done a second view of it. And then it popped up on suggested things. And I thought, oh, let me watch True Blood. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and get this first sprint started. We are going to go for just 10 minutes to start out with. We'll be doing 20s after this one. So this is just our little warm up to get ourselves going. And then we'll have bigger guys after this, but I like to start out with this 10. So it is 5 past the hour. I will see you guys at 1:15. Go be more productive than I'm going to be. Oh no. I made that joke and then I wasn't ready for the timer. There we go. Go, be productive. Okay, that was that was the first sprint. We had a Sandy briefly, and it looked like Sandy had to run off again. I'm sure she'll be back though. I tweeted. I got a tweet, a business tweet, a professional tweet, I got work done tweet posted, and yes, ghost Sandy. And let's see. Oh, and I did a bit of this proofreading, and I added a bunch of words, which is something that I'm actually doing now. I'm going through all of my short stories to put them out into anthologies now. And of course, with anthologies, you want longer. With like the stuff that I was posting on Medium, the shorter, the better. Yes, as short as possible. Cutting all of the extra words out, and now I am adding them back in. So, but this actually went well. I did one earlier today, and I hated every second of it, but as I was reading it, I remembered that actually I just hated that short story. I hated it as I was writing it, and I hated it as I was editing it. And Alley Cat, I would like to know what Topaz and Treachery is and how it is. And Golden Hand. So I still have not found any news articles about it, but it sounds like this absolutely did happen, and it just somehow did not make the news, which I don't get. But I don't know, it looked like it actually did happen from all of the things that people have been saying. Yeah. So, but let me know what you're working on other than finding out more about this. And I just talked to Vanessa 2 days ago. She didn't have any more information about it either. So I don't know. It was a weird thing. Also, hello, Sandy.
Hi. Sorry I'm super, super late.
You were not that late.
I thought I was going to be 5 minutes late, not 20 minutes late. So I feel...
Well, you were like 15 minutes late, but then you were like 10 minutes late, and then you vanished.
Yeah, I knew I was going to be 5 minutes late. I was 10 minutes later than I thought. Then I got on, and my computer just went to, I don't know where.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah. And I'm on my laptop again, so I have no idea how my microphone is or whatever.
Your mic is fine.
It's great.
Yeah. The funny thing with laptops is that I can never figure out where the microphone is, but no matter how I'm sitting with it, it always seems to be fine. The entire thing is a microphone, so no matter where you are, it's okay.
That must be true. This computer is really weird because the camera is at the bottom of the screen. So it's kind of set up so that you have to flip the thing over to
right.
do streaming, right? But you want to type, you got to flip it back over. Whoa, Brenda 31, July 21, 2021. The worst ever.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, Brenda, you bitch, somebody died. So Sandy, you were not here for this, but last week, right in the middle of the show, we found out that there might have been a suicide at one of the hotels that Dragon Con happens at. But the way that the information was presented was really weird, and it sounded kind of like people were trolling about it. But it ended up being this whole topic of discussion with me, and Vanessa happened to be here as well. And of course, this being a Dragon Con thing,
you both knew about
definitely some interest. But so I will say that is weird that they did not, because I do know where that check-in is versus where it happened. And they are on different floors, but you would have to go by it eventually. You would see it because they're the glass elevators. That is so weird. Yeah. But anyway, so it sounds like somebody jumped from like a higher floor.
Oh,
Yes.
that's
So
icky.
they had to like pull out carpet and stuff. And that was where this whole thing came to like be a topic of discussion because they were pulling carpet out, and like Dragon Con is in a few weeks, assuming it happens. So it was a whole thing. Also, Alley Cat says that Topaz and Treachery is about a couple who are secret agents that are working for this group to stop terrorists. There's different books about them, and they're stopping bad guys from stealing important artifacts. That's neat. I was wondering, based on the title, it sounded like it was probably a series. Because like usually you don't go with Topaz if it's your only book in that thing. Topaz is normally like 4.
Oh, wait, we need to go back to the Marriott Marquis, and not to be like really super insensitive. I'm going to be really super insensitive here.
No. We had to say that like 6 times during that conversation last time about it.
Did we? Because what I don't understand, I've been in this building also. It's beautiful inside.
Yeah.
But if you and like so this is like one of these places where like the inside lobby, right, like kind of like raises up the whole way, like all the way up that skyscraper, which God knows how that's structurally sound, but whatever. But okay, if you were gonna jump, wouldn't you jump outside? Like you wouldn't get that sensation of flying if you jumped inside.
I agree with you based on the fact that like this does happen there, and that is usually what happens. I have never heard like suicides absolutely happen at this building, and I've never heard of it happening inside ever.
Yeah, because that's like real. That's not just like I'm gonna take myself out. That's like I'm gonna take myself out and whatever guests are down there, and I don't even care about the flying thing. So I'm thinking this was
There
more
were
of a
also
drunk
several
lady.
people in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they did this in front of their friends, loved ones, whatever.
They
Yeah.
had to be super drunk. That's horrible. I feel very sad.
Oh yeah, no, this would have been inside the building. All of this was inside. Yeah.
Yeah. This is icky.
Yeah.
Yes, Golden Hand. This is an internal space. Oh my God, that's horrible. That's horrible.
Yeah, no, they did this inside. It's one of those hotels where like there is a great big shaft in the middle. So like all of the floors have like balconies basically overlooking the interior of the building. It's actually, there are a lot of references made to it because it's used, right? This is the one that is used in a bunch of movies, and I feel like it was recently used in Loki or one of those because it has this really interesting look to the interior of it. So they like to use it for fun camera stuff.
Yeah, and like big conference center, right? Like tons of conferences happen here.
Yes.
So it is the place to do a conference. Wow, I feel so sad. Although I will say for the Brenda who wrote the review, I bet anything like this is so surreal that it happens and the staff doesn't even believe it. They're probably like, "What? Dead body in the lobby?"
Yeah, as it is happening, like you can't
control that because you don't like how are they supposed to warn people that someone was going to jump from the 47th floor balcony?
Exactly. So I'm going to share screen really quickly just so you guys get an idea of what this looks like. This is an interior shot of that hotel. So they would have like fallen from basically like right there or wherever.
Maybe a little further up.
What was that?
Maybe a little further up.
Well, it depends on where this camera, like how the zoom was on the camera. This building is also, this is one of the ones that's like 60 floors, right?
It is? That would be impressive for a Marriott.
The Westin is the real big one, but we have just it's Atlanta. We have just gigantic buildings here.
But also, if you like Google Marriott Marquis, Atlanta, Georgia, you don't even get information about this. So, huh.
Right. That's what was really weird about this is that we couldn't find any information the day after it happened.
Yeah, I see nothing. Like nothing. Are we sure this happened?
Well, so now we've got these reviews that seem to be saying that it is. I guess it's literally 47 floors. So they jumped from the top floor, or they fell from the top floor. The Westin is 73 floors.
Yeah, this is icky. But yeah,
and I get
I hope it was an
crazy
accident.
vertigo. What was that?
I hope it wasn't. I mean, I hope it would be horrible if it was an accident, right? But like in some ways I feel like it's even worse if it's a suicide, because oh my god, like how horrible do you have to feel to take yourself out that way?
Somebody who was supposedly in their group said it was suicide. So that's what we were. Yeah. Oh, so they were locked in their rooms, according to Karen.
Well, probably after they found out that the body was there, right? Like I'm sure that at some point the lobby staff was like, "Oh shoot, dead body. We should do something about this."
You know where the bar is in there, right?
I've been in there like once.
Okay. So when you come in off of if you come in for me, it's always coming in from the Habit Trail from the Hyatt side. Once you go turn the corner into the main area, the bar is right there to the side. But like in the middle, and that was part of where the carpet was taken out. So yeah, so it was pretty much right there. Yeah, I imagine that the hotel I mean, what can you do with a situation like this? It is a mess. Anyways, we should absolutely sprint.
Also, writer friends, writer depression is a real thing. Do not get help. Okay, we don't want to hear about any of you jumping from the 47th floor of the Marriott Marquis.
Yeah, no.
Don't do it. Don't do
no,
it.
Please don't. Please don't.
Yeah.
Sandy, what are you working on today?
Fan fiction. I am working on old fan fiction because it's making me happy, and my knee is still like killing me. Golden Hand. You're totally apologies fine. For talking about triggering content, right? Like we probably shouldn't be.
We're fine.
God, we're like such voyeurs, but yeah.
Okay, let's do the sprint, and then we'll move on.
Yeah.
Okay, we are back. I am back. Sandy is almost back. There's Sandy.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Thank you. You too.
Yes.
What are you working on today, Chloe?
So that's a really good question, but I don't have an answer to because I hate everything right now.
Oh.
I will say part of it is my computer died again. So I'm back on laptop land. Yeah, my life. And but so also like I have not been motivated to work on Kaimani because I'm not liking what's been happening with that story.
Wait, what? Everything that I've read so far has been great.
Yeah, you haven't read. You haven't read Where It Goes Downhill?
Is it like in these 2 chapters that you just sent today?
I mean, it's gonna start here. Yeah, but yeah. So like, I haven't been motivated to do that, and I haven't really had the motivation to write the short stories. I did just edit one because I will be putting them into anthologies, but also I know how erotic readers are, and I am definitely going to screw up how I do this because they are very much one genre, like one subgenre, and that's not what I write.
I'm sorry. I just totally got distracted by this.
Everything.
Do they write it to bucket?
Oh, that's fair. I support that. Thank you. But
wait. So go back because I was busy reading the toboggan comment when you were saying, so I'm working on erotic shorts, I think.
Oh, yeah. So I got one anthology put together, and I am putting them together by theme at least. But also, I know that like I'm going to have issues putting them out because erotica readers like one thing. Their one thing is different, but like I write everything, and the people who do well with it do well because they write one thing. I don't know how you write, a 5,000 word short story every week that is the exact same kink. I don't get it, but that is how that market works. So I'm just going to put these out and see what happens. But like, I'm not expecting them to do better than anything else that I have been putting out lately. So, what was that? What was that, Sean?
Thanks for joining us. Thanks to everybody who's joined us today. I don't know if we've been doing like hellos like specifically because I don't think I've been here since.
That's okay. Yeah, but anyway, so I'm thinking about opening back up my Christmas baking show romance, but that also has that massive problem that I think I want it to have sex in it now, which I feel like is a terrible idea. And also I don't know just if I should or not. I don't know. I feel like I probably need to get an alpha reader for it. Yeah. But
I don't think I've ever actually read a Christmas romance. I watch Christmas romance like religiously, but at the holidays, to clarify. But
I mean, so like the movies, first of all, I just watched one a week ago. Don't shade. It was real bad. It was Amy Acker. That was the reason I watched it. I watched it because Amy Acker was in it. But she was a ballerina, but like a retired ballerina who like has to save the day by doing the routine that she was supposed to do 10 years ago and couldn't. Like, I'm sorry, you can't do that. You can't just quit dancing for 10 years and then do that. Anyway.
Okay, don't do it in the fantasy.
Anyway. But yeah, so like I know that there are certainly steamy Christmas romance books out there, but usually they are part of a steamy series, or they're paranormal or whatever. And this would absolutely be a cooking show, a baking show, baking competition, where they're going to be banging at it. And I feel like that might be a bad move. But also, I'm reading right now an inspirational romance that takes place around a cooking show. So that isn't helping either.
Wait, is this related to the Vivian Awards? Are we
It
talking about the Vivian
is.
So tell everybody about this. Wait, let's put a timeline on this. Let's sprint by 9, okay?
Okay,
But tell us about this.
Let's go ahead and go back for a moment, just so you guys, just so you know what we are going to be discussing between our breaks or during our breaks, for possibly the rest of the show. RWA. I don't know how much you guys all out there know about the drama that has been happening in the last couple of years with RWA, Romance Writers of America, but they had a huge meltdown in December of 2019. So they are one of the biggest writing organizations in the world. Obviously, they are the biggest for romance, but they are extremely powerful, or they were. And then they had this great big fiasco back in 2019, where basically, if you know the author Courtney Milan, who writes, yes, this is absolutely the Courtney Milan thing. I like that as I say that pops up on my screen. So Courtney Milan, who was, and I'm not going to say everything right this time, but Courtney Milan was a board member of RWA. Longtime RWA member, one of the most well-known RWA members, who was active as a board member, like Nora Roberts, people like that were in RWA. I don't know if they still are or not, but for active, Courtney Milan was one of the most well-known. She was also part of their diversity committee. I don't know if that was the right name or not. And at one point she called out a couple of authors for having diversity issues in their books. I believe both of the books wrote Asian characters in an offensive light. Courtney Milan is Asian. She is, I believe, half Chinese and half white. So she called out these books, and these authors, publishers, I feel like one was a publisher and one was an author, filed complaints against her. They ultimately, she ended up getting banned from RWA for a year and banned from RWA committees for life. She makes public knowledge of this. A couple other people make a big fuss about this. And it turns out that all of this shady shit happened. That basically, it kind of looked like the RWA president at the time, Damon Suede, was deliberately looking for a way to kick Courtney Milan out. He changed rules specifically to make this a more difficult situation for Milan. They ended up basically, she was accused of 4 things, and 3 of them they said no, she absolutely did not do. And it was just that final thing that they came up with this extreme sentence, so to speak, for. I don't know, Sandy probably knows the better word that I should be using there than sentence, because it's not a court thing. But it also comes out that yes so it also comes out that Damon Suede basically appears to be getting paid off by a publisher to not do anything about complaints made against this publisher. And it turns out that he's lied about a bunch of things. One of the weirdest ones was that he lied and said that he knew who Chuck Tingle is, who Chuck Tingle's actual identity is, and said that Chuck Tingle was actually a group of people. And Chuck Tingle puts out a statement like, "I'm just me, and also I don't know this dude." So like all of this stuff happens, all of this terrible diversity stuff happens where like yeah, the Dream Spinner Press thing where that was the publishing house that was not paying royalties and people were making complaints about it and he was ignoring it because they were paying him. That was part of it, but also he was ignoring all of these complaints about diversity issues. So the big thing here was absolutely a diversity issue. There was just all this other stuff that came up. So a bunch of RWA chapters. Yes, he tried to dox the Tingle. Did we both try to? Yes. Okay. So again, the root of this is absolutely a diversity issue, and the fact that like romance does have a huge problem with diversity, and they were acting like they were doing all of these things to help that in RWA, and what they were actually helping was to keep romance not diverse. So a bunch of chapters split and are now their own things not related to RWA. Tons of people left. They canceled. It ultimately didn't matter, but they canceled their conference, their convention for 2020. We all know 2020, so it didn't matter anyways. But they also got rid of their old awards, the Ritas, and rebranded them as the Vivians that were supposed to be this great new thing where they did better with all of this, which I don't really understand how just changing, like what the point is changing the name of the award. I do know that it's in honor of an author, a Black author, but I guess they just wanted to like throw that bone. But yeah, so they claimed that they were doing these things to fix this. And again, the Vivians ended up not getting awarded at all in 2020. They were coming back in 2021. And this just happened. Excuse me. This just happened this past weekend. And when we come back from our next sprint, we'll talk about how RWA is even shittier than they ever were before. But we did say at 9 o'clock Eastern we were going to do our next sprint, and this was exactly how I wanted to split this whole thing up. But we'll go into what RWA just did this weekend. If you are not on Twitter that much, you probably don't know. But like brace yourselves because it's insane. So 20 minutes on the clock. It is one past. Yeah, right. A cliffhanger, but it's okay because we'll like figure it out in 20 minutes.
Good work.
You guys go be productive right now, though. Okay. That was oh.
Sorry, I just couldn't handle it.
Apparently, we're both going to have camera issues today.
No. That was me doing that on purpose. I could not handle the disorder. It was too much.
Oh, excuse me. You didn't hear that? I'm fine. Everything's fine. No, I was like moving my laptop at the beginning of that last sprint, and I jostled the camera cable enough that it flickered. And for some reason, StreamYard was like, "No, this will die now," even though my camera was lit up and like, "Hey, I'm here. We can talk again." And StreamYard was like, "No." So to back out. And then of course I'm like, "No, give me camera." And so it gives me the laptop camera, which is my laptop is tinted, but like mine is at the top of the screen. So it's like there, like boob shot, like Also,
what is going on with this? Yeah, let's talk about chocolate ganache and orange marmalade.
I love chocolate ganache, or I love chocolate oranges. So that sounds delicious.
It's so
yes, it was a very much cleavage camp, and I'm literally like putting my hand over it, like I was doing that to it, like oh no, oh god. Anyways, so back to the story at hand. Oh, I should have.
Weird.
Oh no, I leaned slightly. And then it was like, okay, the focus point must be here now. Oh, there we go. So, so that whole first story that I told about RWA happened in December of 2019. So about 2 years ago. At which point RWA basically goes underground, partially because of this and partially because of like COVID and everything. Did I not say 2019? I meant 2019 if that's not what I said. My apologies. But so they basically just kind of vanish. Like they're not, I mean, you know, they're just not really making news. I guess is a good thing. They're supposedly restructuring. They finally get to have their next convention this past weekend. And so in the category of, oh, gotcha. The category for inspirational romance, which of course most of us read that phrase as Christian romance. They don't specify that it needs to be Christian, but like that is the category that this is. The book that they chose is a historical romance. And the book starts out at Wounded Knee. The hero is massacring Native Americans. The hero of the book is massacring Native Americans.
So all I have of this is like that text that you sent me showing the first page. So let me see if I'm understanding this right. Like that book is basically like what was the movie with I'm sure it was Mel Brooks. The Patriot.
Blazing Saddles?
No, I think it was The Patriot. Where like his whole family has been, or perhaps Braveheart.
Braveheart. I don't know The Patriot. I thought Patriot was American. Was
yeah, it is
Revolutionary War.
Yeah, it is. But I believe that somewhere in the very beginning, there's like a whole like Native
his family was slaughtered by Native Americans.
I think there might be.
Yes.
It's
I don't know about it for that movie. You're probably right. Do you see that my cat is literally using a pillow right now like an asshole? Anyway.
Oh.
What a baby.
My dog is using a pillow, but I actually think it's really cute. I mean, personally.
So this book, it starts out at Wounded Knee, where again they kill a bunch of Native Americans. And the first page of it, I read the first page of it. I got the sample. Yes, you did not mishear that. Okay, the French Indian War was at the start of that movie. That's fair. And here's the thing:
so I wasn't totally off base.
Yeah, and the thing is that like if this is like a totally historical. If this is a historical drama, this is something that happened in our history. I'm certainly not going to say that you cannot make media about these things. You cannot make the hero of a romance somebody who massacred Native Americans.
No, you can't. You can't. I mean, this is inappropriate right now anyway. I mean, come on. Like, what decade are we in? What year are we in? Like,
yeah. And the thing is that like it's the reason I'm assuming the reason that Sandy mentioned this thing about the Patriot is that like I read the first page of this book and I sent it to Sandy because it's literally as far as I could get in it. We already knew that this was what was going to happen because the scandal had already broken about this. And in the very first page, there is a reference to the fact that the hero's family was killed by Native Americans. So, like, right off the bat, we are also dealing with a premise where there is some form of revenge, some form of justification, like the author is trying to justify why their hero is starting in this setting. But again, this is just not ever an appropriate setting for a romance. It's not, and you know, I feel like I don't need to explain it too far, but like this is also different from
this. It's this.
Yes.
This is the problem.
This exactly.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah. And so here's where, let me see if I can pull this up while I'm talking about it. But like, as soon as I read that line, I was like, you know, the thing here is that it's not even that the author chose a hero that was too problematic to actually function in this role. At this point, the problem is the author themselves is too problematic. This is a problematic author. And, you know, oh, that's interesting because my comment, and it could be that, again, I was literally commenting on Courtney Milan's thread, one of her many threads about it, because of course she is exploding right now. But let me see, sorry. Is it? Yes. Okay. So this is what is posted after this whole thing blows up, that people are freaking out that this was what they chose as the winner for this category. Also, they had freaked out. People had already made a big fuss about this when this book was announced as a finalist. So they did know, like they did know in advance that this was going to be a problem. They also knew it in advance of all of those burial sites that we've been finding in Canada. And they still went with this, but this is part of the statement that RWA puts out. This is their definition for romance with inspirational romance with religious or spiritual elements. As a subgenre of romance, requires a redemptive arc as a genre convention. Fine. Essentially, the character can't be redeemed by human means. I think that's a little weird, but okay. Only through their spiritual / religious awakening can they find redemption for their moral failings. Okay. And or crimes against humanity. According to RWA, crimes against humanity are a viable vehicle for you to set the plot of your romance around.
Oh my God, what idiots. This is okay. So let's step back for a second. So basically what's happening here is some very religious person has defined original sin as crimes against humanity, right? And because they're an idiot, instead of saying like original sin, which
Yeah.
we could have all interpreted as like some kind of religious thing, they actually use the phrase crimes against humanity. Crimes against humanity.
Yeah, they have,
Whoa.
and I can't stress enough that they
What
put on
dumbasses.
the same level as moral failings.
Well, if you were coming at it from like a very evangelical Christian perspective, then like every sin, right? Like everything
That's
you
fair.
do is a crime against humanity. So like the perspective, like that person isn't thinking crimes against humanity in the sense of like the Holocaust or massacring people.
Yes.
They're thinking in the sense of like coveting your neighbor's wife. So like they're way off base. They're not in 2021, but like they're not, their lingo isn't the same. But seriously, how did that happen at the Vivian Awards?
Yes, and them knowing about it, my comment that, again, Maggie, mine was on the same vein of yours. So I can write a romance set in 2002 about an ISIS terrorist who helped orchestrate 9/11 and is redeemed by a spiritual awakening as he falls in love with a Shiite pacifist. And that would be eligible for a Vivian. That's what you're telling me based on this, that I can write a story about somebody who was part of the biggest terrorist attack on the United States, a crime against humanity, and their redemption is falling in love and having a spiritual awakening. Not for paying. Right, I see what you're saying. Redemption involves paying for past crimes. But in this, they're saying that their redemption is spiritual / religious awakening. Yes.
And that's it's fine for in some other historic context, right? Like you want to write a book about 9/11, right? And not make it a romance, right? Like the character isn't the hero. The character is just a main character, and you're talking about a redemption arc, like Crime and Punishment style. Okay, fine, whatever. Like write your literary thing.
Mm-hmm.
But like in romance, your hero is idolized, right? Like this person is set up to be someone we want to be like. So like really? Like
yeah. Yeah. And like I looked at the other books on the list because I was like, what the hell is happening that they decided to choose this book? And one of them is literally about two chefs who are on a competition show, and one of them is an asshole and a raging alcoholic, and he has to go to rehab, and he like, finds
I can live with that. I can totally live with that.
I didn't like it. I'm reading it right now, and it's weird how they did the pacing on it, but like the premise, yeah, absolutely. That is absolutely something that you, yeah.
because you can see that, right? Like you can totally see something like, say, Loser Dad, right? Like somebody who hasn't been good with his family and has an ex who hates him and finally runs into some wonderful Christian woman who just brings him to Jesus. Oh my God.
Yeah.
He has a come to Jesus moment, literally. And redemption happens, and now he's going to be like a good fatherly person. And okay, like I get it. Like that can be, I suppose. Is that romantic to anybody? Is that a romance theme, or is that like
how you write it?
I think their definition of like inspirational romance is really messed up here generally. Like, why does there have to be some spiritual awakening for it to be?
I thought that was a little strange too. Like, I did not think that was part of inspirational romance or related, like whatever category you want to put it in, because then that kicks out anything that is
positive
a romance between two already religious people, or like the Amish romance or anything like that.
Yeah,
because if they're already there, it's kind of a weird jump. Also, so this thread popped up 20 hours ago. So Ron Hagen read this book. At Love's Command is the name of this book. Just putting it out there, the premise of this book is after Wounded Knee, this guy and his crew, his posse, whatever, go do mercenary work, and one of them is injured and they have to go see a lady doctor. And there's the romance between him and the lady doctor. That is the premise of it. I mean, this is kind of like shit that happens in historical romance, so I'm not crapping on the premise other than, you know, the massacre. So
well, couldn't he just have been a regular soldier? Like, wasn't it bad enough to face death?
What? Yes.
Like, we'd have felt bad about that.
Oh, right. He could have been
redeemed for killing regular enemies.
So this takes place in 1890. So this could be something where they're like going after outlaws, and they are mercenaries going after outlaws because it's Wild West, and he gets shot. I don't know.
Which is probably still bad, but at least it's not like culturally disgusting right now. You know, like
right. And that's the thing, is that like culturally this is just not okay right now. So what he says about this, romance fans protesting the award are spot on. Whitemeyer's novel does not work as a redemption narrative, not least of all because the hero doesn't regret the genocidal campaign that led to Wounded Knee. He only regrets that Wounded Knee went badly. Through there's more. Through her protagonist, Whitemeyer literally both sides, not just the Wounded Knee, but the Indian Wars in full, asserting plenty of blame and plenty of sin on both sides.
Matt's issue with Wounded Knee is that women and children were killed, offending his sense of honor. And again, like if you were doing some kind of historic literary piece and you wanted a character, because I'm sure there were plenty of men who felt like this, but like, oh my God, in 2021 to write a inspirational novel?
Yeah.
And RWA is supposed to be all about diversity right now?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the craziness, that like, why would you choose this year of all times? Also, I wanted to see what Allie is saying over here, because I keep trying to like bounce over to comments and then like missing it. Let's see. It took me a minute to realize what this meant, but now I'm understanding, and that's crazy, like having that romance story to excuse what that person did. If it's too bad, definitely doesn't make sense. Or like make it the reason why they change. I think it would work for some stuff, which I agree with what you guys said, but that romance plot won't solve God, I got lost because my screen bounced. Otsal everything says it's not always that easy for some people to change and stuff. Yes. I don't.
What were they thinking?
I don't have issues with heroes who were at war. I do think that you need to make sure that you're not doing the wars where they did something really heinous, or like if you are at a war that was really unjust, that you put it in the light that the character didn't have the choice. Like somebody getting enlisted for Vietnam, and going over there and doing horrible things, and then coming back and having a redemption story like that, I could understand more. Or even
World War II is incredibly romantic, right? Like, I mean,
Well, World War II, we're on the right side,
and that's the thing, right? Like in World War II, if you're
and I don't think anybody's going to argue because we were fighting Nazis. I mean, the whole
so
what we did in Japan was really fucked up, but
you could still have that person tormented by the fact that he had to kill another life, right? Like, there could be redemption there. Like you could get that, but like,
And again, to use this justification or this like somehow trying to pad it with the fact that his family was killed by Native Americans, just it just is the evidence that you don't understand why this was a touchy subject.
Touchy.
Well,
Touchy is you being really nice about this.
Right. But again, like by that, I mean, like, you know, again, it's something that you really had to approach in just the right direction or disaster was going to happen. And disaster absolutely happened because they tried to justify this in some way because their family was killed. But like, are we really going to? Yeah.
You know, I'm really unimpressed with RWA for that definition too. Like I keep thinking about this, and like I don't ever want to. Like I could see myself reading Christian romance or even like writing it. I would consider myself a Christian. I don't know if I feel good about that in this context, but like,
You're fine.
you know, like okay, but like, wouldn't like I feel like the people I know who are religious church going people would be just as happy reading a romance about somebody who's, I don't know, feeling a little hopeless and then meet somebody spiritual and hope is revived. Like we don't, like the hopeless person doesn't have to have killed somebody, right? They could just be having like a difficult time. There's so many other ways.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah, and again, like of all years, like where the hell is your tact when this year of all years, your inaugural year of this new award that you had to put out because you effed up diversity so bad for so long, well past when everybody was like up in arms about it. Why would you not pick something that was just squeaky clean?
This is definitely puts RWA on like the side of evil in 2021.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
are you
cancel your
good for another
memberships if you have them still.
20?
Wow.
Are you good for another 20?
Yeah. Let's do another 20 minutes.
Okay. Because we do need, sorry that we took over with this, but like sometimes we just need to have an RWA vet. Okay, we'll see you guys in 20 minutes. Okay, that is time. Let me know if y'all got some work done. I don't know. I organized stuff. I organized files. I got stories in 2 folders.
Sorry, I got caught up in fixing. I've totally been working on cartoon fan fiction because I need some writing that just makes me freaking happy right now. And
Yeah.
and that does. Let's go back to RWA because fan fiction, as much as I love it, is not something I want to dwell on YouTube. So
Also, really quickly, I'm just going to put it out there that was our last sprint. So if you guys want more productivity, move on. But if you want to talk about RWA's latest scandal, stick around.
yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm looking at this very interesting comment from.
Is it the tweet that you're looking at?
No, I haven't looked. I haven't looked at the tweet because I actually was working on my fan fiction. I was looking at this tweet. I think this is really interesting.
Yeah, I also write. I am not someone who does not write outside of my race. I absolutely write very diverse characters. I live a very diverse life. So I don't get the people who are like you shouldn't write this because you don't know it, because I'm like, this is I've been I don't know. It's weird to me, but like also I guess I could see that if you are in an area that's not that diverse and you don't have a diverse friends group and whatever, that like it maybe it's not a good idea to write diversity, but I like to see as much diversity from everybody as possible. So I write a lot of diverse characters, and I very rarely have them in relationships within their race, because that's not something that is an important value to me. And I don't like, it's not something that I even think about that often.
And I think this is very good. And unfortunately, you guys, I think I got to go because my husband got home and he had a really, really long day, and I'm invading our bedroom right now.
So maybe we are ending this show here.
I'm sorry. This is a really super important conversation, and we should continue it at the next time. Thank you, honey. He says I can. He says I can keep going, but it seems a little unfair to do that. So
yeah. We'll have our closing words on it.
You can stay if you want. It looks like you've still got a discussion.
No, I have other. I need to actually get some work done, and I should use this as an opportunity to get actual stuff done.
Sorry.
Yeah, and yeah, absolutely. Like, I don't. It's really weird that this was their choice of diversity in this story, and
I gotta go. I'll see you guys later. Okay.
That was like a light check now.
Yep. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye. But yeah, I do think so what we're talking about there, and I will just say just a little bit more about that. What we're talking about there is, let me see if I can pull this up. So it's also come out that this book is not this author has a whole series of books about these men who were in Wounded Knee and in previous battles against Native Americans and basically massacred Native Americans. So there's a whole series about it, which I wasn't surprised about, because this is usually how romance series works. They are a group of people that are bonded together somehow. And I knew that this was a group of mercenaries going into that first book. So I was not surprised that, that this is a whole series. But It looks like they use the heroine in the second book is of mixed ancestry, which I'm already not liking that phrasing. And I'm looking at looking at it going through like several different filters right now. Is that actually what it says in the back cover? Did they actually use that phrase on the back cover, or was it lifted from the book? Oh, and she's a nanny? Oh, or a teacher? Maybe a teacher. I don't know. Okay, so at least it's not on the back cover, but like, yeah, so this just like makes it even more problematic. For years, they've been nomads for justice, but a final mission may just lead their hearts home, is apparently the blurb that they are going with, or like the pitch for the series. So yeah, it all looks pretty craptacular. Everything that I've seen is bad. The first sentence that I read was bad. And as I mentioned over on YouTube's comments, Alley Cat said, as a Christian, you definitely don't need romance stories with characters who messed up like crazy, like killing people or whatever, for it to be good. It could be smaller mistakes people made or different things they weren't always comfortable with in their lives, and maybe having that change when they meet someone, regardless if it's romance or not. Exactly. Like, usually, a Christian romance, regardless of the category or what time frame it is or whatever, usually they are more on the slice of life side of things. They're usually more mundane and people dealing with like personal demons. And I have read a fair amount of Christian romance because I do like to read Christmas romances. And a lot of them, obviously it's Christmas, so a lot of them are Christian, are, you know, more overtly Christian than a Christmas romance movie would be. Which some of them are like really like beat over the head, and some of them are pretty gentle about it. I try to stay away from the stuff that's really aggressive about it. I'm fine with good and wholesome. I just don't need Bible shoved down my throat. But anyways, so I do actually know this genre pretty well. And I also like to read the blurbs on the back of Amish romance novels because they always seem so crazy to me. Definitely read phrases like, he's an Amish from the wrong side of the tracks, like the horse and buggy tracks. What are we talking about here? But certainly they're usually like gentle and mundane. And just gentler for it. Yeah, and Alley Cat says that she reads some Christian romances that were good too. Like, I have absolutely no problems reading inspirational romance. If it's a good story, it's a good story. And let's see. I grew up with on the Texas-Louisiana border, and many used the word mulatto, for non-Creole white, half black people, because Creole means French black only. Yes. It is like they are trying to make people hate Christianity with crap like this by picking the most offensive of the field. Exactly. And like I was saying, one of the runner-ups, which I read it. I read half of it. I read most of it, more than half of it. And didn't ultimately care for it. I just didn't like how it was structured. It didn't have anything to do with the religious content in it. But I read one of the finalists that was about two people on a cooking show, two world-class chefs in a competition, where it starts out with them in a competition together, and it's the final episode, and they are going against each other, and she wins, and he, it turns out, is really drunk. And like knocks her dish out of her hands and makes a literal and figurative mess, and ends up like getting kicked off his own show because they both were like people that had their own cooking shows. And and had to go to like rehab and stuff. And the story takes place after he gets out of rehab, which I thought was a weird choice that like he's already on his redemption arc. And that's kind of what bothered me about it. But like, this is exactly the sort of like, this was a totally fine and easy premise. She's not like really aggressively Christian. I mean, she's very religious. She has very strong faith, but she's not, you know, she is a human being with flaws. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. One of my best friends is a minister. So I am not religious at all. And I've had things happen because I am gay and in the Bible Belt. So I definitely don't, all of my experience with Christians have not been positive, but I certainly understand that that is a person thing and not a religion thing. So yes, abusive recovering alcoholics make the best boyfriends tropes. It depends on how it's done, but this one, because, you know, they were not in a relationship before. He was just like an asshole to everybody. And he is starting over. It was good. But anyways, I am going to call it there. That's what's going on with RWA. If you follow me on Twitter and you were like, what the hell does she keep going on about? This was it. Just like the killing, like our final straw with RWA, the moment that we knew that there's RWA is just beyond redemption, and to not put any more faith in it has happened. And hopefully something else will come along that's better, because I really could use the support of something like RWA that does not, you know, that is filled with bigots. So you guys all have a great night. We'll definitely be back next Wednesday. I don't know what's going on with me. I'm probably not going to be doing day shows for a little while because, again, I'm down a computer and it's hard to do my day shows without both computers. So we'll see what happens. But you guys have a great evening, whatever your time of day is. And I hope to see you soon. Bye.